Investigation has revealed that tomorrow is Saturday and it's packed with college football games. To help us sort through them, we welcome in our good friend from College Football Countdown, Joey Galloway. We'll start with this. Number 4, Ohio State at number 9, Penn State, which is probably the feature game. How vulnerable is Ohio State in this game, given the loss of great defensive player Nick Bosa?
I don't think they're vulnerable at all. I think that they're the better football team. I don't see this game being close. A lot of people picked Penn State to win the Big Ten before the season began. I don't see these teams on the same level. I think Ohio State is much more talented. I think that Dwayne Haskins has put Ohio State on a different map than they've been in the past couple of years, and I don't think this game is close. I think Ohio State wins it easily.
All right, Joey, the other massive game, number 7, Stanford, traveling to number 8, Notre Dame. Stanford got a little fortunate last week against Oregon. Do you like them in this game?
Not just a little fortunate. They got a lot fortunate. They had some things happen that you don't normally see in a game where one team in Stanford didn't look like they deserved to be on the same field as Oregon, and then things flipped around. Because that was such an emotional game, and now they're going on the road to a Notre Dame team that just switched quarterbacks at Ian Book. I think that energizes a team, and I just think see in this game that Notre Dame will win simply because Ian Book in his second start of the season will have just as big a game as he did last week.
I think that a lot of college football fans look at the top 4 teams. They look at Alabama and Georgia and Clemson and Ohio State, and they think they've separated from everybody else. But to people like me, it looks like Alabama has separated from everybody else, maybe in the last 4, 5, 6 years. Nick Saban asked for criticism of his team the other day. So what do you got? What can you criticize with him?
There isn't much, and I think that Nick Saban knows that, and that's why he's asking for criticism. Usually he's the one criticizing. Usually he's the one picking out things about his team and saying, we didn't do this well, or we weren't very good in this area. And then this season, with an offense that's rolling the way they are, a defense that's scoring touchdowns still and being dominating, even Nick Saban can't find a reason to complain about his team. So he's reaching out to the rest of us to please give us something to complain about, but there really isn't much.
You know, big news this week, Clemson quarterback Kelly Bryant is transferring after freshman Trevor Lawrence won the starting job. Do you see in Lawrence what obviously Dabo Swinney sees in Lawrence?
What I see is a guy that's a better passer. And I think Alabama started something last year in a championship game that we're going to see trickle down through all of college football, where they got into a championship game with a guy that couldn't pass very well, and they got behind 13 points. And at halftime, they switched to Tua, the better passer. They win. The year before, they get beat by a better passer in Deshaun Watson. And it's been these dual-threat quarterbacks taking over college football. And now what we're seeing is Alabama goes Tua, Ohio State has Haskins. Now Clemson goes Trevor Lawrence, not so that they can win this week against Syracuse, but so that they can get over the hump and win a championship this year, which they couldn't do last year with Kelly Bryant, who doesn't pass. This is the beginning of all these top teams. They're thinking, we got to go to a pocket-passing quarterback to get over the top and win a championship, and that's why Clemson made this move right now.
All right, Joey, let's give Central Florida a little love here. They've won their last 16 games. They're ranked 13th in the country. Are they at the same level this year that they were at last year?
They appear to be. And I love paying attention to teams like UCF or teams like Boise State in the past, because we in the polls, we slot these teams like we did UCF last year in that 14 to 15 area, and we feel comfortable with them right there. Teams in front of them lose, but we don't let them move up. We never let them get to a position where they can threaten getting into a playoff. So this is going to be interesting. They're putting up points as fast as they did last year. They were as explosive as they were last year. So let's keep our eye on UCF, who won a mystical national championship last season. Let's keep our eye and see if they start to gain some respect when the real committee brings out the first poll, see where they are then and see where they end up if they keep winning.
I will get you out of here on this. BYU has already pulled off a couple of big upsets this season. They can do it again against number 1 Washington. Do you like their chances?
I do not. I think
number
that
11 Washington, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think that Washington is a team that they haven't looked great at times. We expected Myles Gaskins to have a big year. We expected Jake Browning to have a big year, and they just haven't looked like they're clicking on all cylinders. But I don't see them losing this game. We're going to have a lot of fun in the Pac-12 because although Washington is the favorite, they're not a clear-cut favorite. The Pac-12 is going to get interesting down the road.
Just do me one favor. Wilbon's not here. Northwestern plays Michigan. Please tell me Michigan will win by at least 20 points.
Well, the way Michigan's offense is looking in the past couple weeks, Shea Patterson's getting going, the running game is getting going, and so between us three, and I hope that Wilbon's not watching this show right now.
No, he's not.
I do think that Michigan wins this football game. I don't know by how many, but I think Michigan wins the game.
It's fabulous. Thank you so much for your time, Joey. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Joey.
You can catch more of Joey tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern or tomorrow on College Football Final. Let's take one last break, but still to come. Is Tristan Thompson actually right that the East still goes through Cleveland? No.
And is Jerry Jones right to compare similarities between the Cowboys and the Rams?
Here's the similarities. They both use 11 players. That's the end of this.